All right. Well, in any case, let's go ahead and move on here. We have 2 episodes to talk about, and I'm gonna
Uh,
go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the one that I'm pretty sure is going to take up the majority of our time here. Of
Oh
course.
my gosh, we're talking about Trixie and Starlight. Oh, I'm so excited.
no, that's next week.
No, that's
What?
exactly what we're talking about. We're gonna talk about those shipping duos. Those two
Great.
ship together so well. It's pretty much an odd couple at this point. I mean, I can't believe they haven't just started snogging yet on camera. They just get on and then there's like an entire half hour of them just snogging.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. In fact, here's a perfect picture to encapsulate them snogging. Wait.
I believe the appropriate phrase is slap, slap, kiss relationship.
Okay, enough of saying snogging. It's actually making my...
I have the card.
But no, we are talking about frenemies to start.
Oh.
But yes, frenemies, which is definitely been the most interesting episode, not only this season, but they've done in general. At least in my opinion.
By the way, a lot of people are like, Chrysalis should have transformed into a different form because she accepted, air quotes here, friendship. My response to that is, no, she didn't because it wasn't willingly given to her. She willingly said, no, screw that, I am not going that way. I am not going there.
I'm gonna just get some...
Yeah, had their conversation at the peak gone one line further, then sure, but no.
Well...
Pay close attention, no.
No,
None
no.
of them truly accept it, they just start to.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this here real fast because this isn't exactly where I expected to start this conversation.
Well, that's
But
one of the major issue people bring up. Like, that's incongruent. That's...
look, hold it.
The major thing that I hear about in this episode is that Chrysalis is fucking adorable.
She
Well, aside
is.
from that,
And creepy, because we get to learn all about
Yeah, yeah. She gets a weird bowl snake all hot and bothered and then sucks him dry. Right on camera. It's great.
Wait, we're still talking about MLP, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still are. And nothing
wait, I meant to correct that. We're talking about broadcast My Little Pony, right?
yep.
All right. Well, okay. Let's try to get this train. Well, first, I'm gonna go ahead and dispel this right off the bat. One, the changelings changed not because they started to change their minds, but they decided to share their love. Chrissy did not share her love. She shared her magic, but that was kind of sucked out of her too. She didn't just like it out. Just didn't put it out. She didn't put her love out for all to see. No, she just like, okay, go ahead and suck it, you freaking asshole. So one, she didn't display her magic and pour it out like the other changelings did. So no, she wasn't going to change from that. Yeah, she was getting close to changing her mind about things. Changing her mind does not change her body. That just changes her perception. She wouldn't have changed
While we're talking about characters sucking it in and spitting it out, I mean, like,
hold on.
Shit.
Sorry, I just need to interrupt here real fast before we continue on here because I want to make sure that people have time to start grabbing pics and stuff. So yeah, if you have favorite art, pictures, animations, anything about this episode, please go ahead and start posting it in our chat groups or into pics and GIFs in our Discord, and I will start grabbing them and putting them up as I go. But now that I've already talked about that, and I probably should have talked about it at the beginning of the show, what are you going to do?
I do want to see these burlap sap plushes.
Actually, I would love to see these as merchandise. I would love it so much.
Hey. Burlap sack ponies. I already did that, jerks.
Well, now we can do some more. But let's actually go ahead and start off with a quick synopsis of the episode. Of course, this takes place in the Tower of Doom, or the Cavern of Doom. Meanwhile, in the Cavern of... I'm I only know that stupid Hall of Justice line. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice.
No, meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Right. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, of course, it has basically Grogar trying to find his magical bell. And we start to see the annoying roommate scenario start to play out with Cozy Glow tattling and trying to get Tarek in trouble. Tarek saying, don't believe her, she's annoying and pushy and stupid. And Chrissy, of course, losing her marbles because she is basically swallowing every single bit of Ray she's had since Season 2. And is basically the exact same equivalent of a Brony trying to swallow all of their headcanon from since Season 2. They are going completely deranged.
Yeah. Also,
And talking to a great stick.
Talking to a purple stick, which also leaves a lot of questions. But we're going to leave those questions alone for now. Because one, we can't exactly prove it.
And two, we really don't want to go above our rating.
Yeah. In any case, so after Grogar is like, you guys need to cooperate or else, they decide, you know what? No, we're not going to cooperate. Then Cozy goes like, you know what? I'm going to do the pony thing, and I'm going to just start singing, and somehow that's going to start getting things going. And, of course, they start singing and dancing, and it leads to a wonderful song that I'm trying to parody a little bit, but I have no singing chops. However, of course, after the singing and being able to dance and pose, of course, Grogar comes up and says, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to actually be doing something. And you know what? I'm going to go and have you get my bell. They say, what bell? They say, my bell. And then they say, what bell again? They get blasted through a wall and then teleported. You don't keep talking about the bell.
Wait, Cole, did we actually finish watching the thing where the bell comes from?
We did not.
Darn it.
Okay, well, those of you who actually know the original My Little Pony, Grogar actually does have a bell, though in that one, didn't it melt?
Spoilers, gosh.
Yeah, 1980 spoilers. I'm a horrible monster.
Clearly, there was too much cowbell involved.
Tell that to the people who watch Stranger Things Circuit.
Too much cowbell.
I have a lot of questions about that, but I'm going to leave it alone. Okay. But yes, so they send them up to the mountains to get the bell. Chrissy tries to climb up and fails. Cozy Glow tries to cozy up to a guard that's been there since probably time immemorial and will probably die alone. And I have no idea what's in that cabin. I don't want to know what's in that cabin at this point. But, of course, that doesn't help. And she gets mad. And
Circuit. He at least gets the post. We know this because he managed to get the Twilight Bible.
yeah, he did get the Twilight Bible, which was hilarious.
Sorry, the Twible. The Twible.
The Twible.
All hail the tribal.
All hell Twible. And of course, we also deal with the fact that Tarek does nothing. Because he takes 5 minutes to realize, yeah, Grogar was right. There is no way in hell none of us can do this alone. So I'm just going to sit here until the rest of them fail and then get ideas from them.
And I put the creature's name in the Picks and Gifts chat.
So after a while of failure and laughing at their failures, they come together. They start mocking Twilight because that is the one thing that they all have in common. They hate her guts. After an evening of mocking Twilight, they decide to start working together. They learn that friendship truly is magic. And then Chrissy realizes that they're being tainted and screams out the most amazing way I have ever seen anybody reject character change. Seriously, I like this moment where she's just thinking like, but everything worked out. This is wonderful, and it's nice to have people in. No! Just the sudden no!
I am not succumbing to this. I will not succumb.
No, I have seen those colorful Crayola knockoffs called the Changelings. I am not going. And of course, But of course, they realize that they should still work together. However, they are only working together long enough to try to kill each other after they get rid of Grogar. And they hide the bell, which becomes obvious fodder for whatever happens near the end of the season.
Series, remember.
Season. Season.
Why are we talking about the same thing?
Because you're trying to correct me. And I do not stand for that. So yeah.
We get a lot of changeling forms that Chrysalis goes into, and it's amazing. We even get a goat!
We get a goat. We get a actually, the snake does have a name. I forget what the creature.
It's probably scrolled up a bit. Nope.
And we get the crocodile moving again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the crocodile.
I'll spell it out for you. OPHIOTAUR.
No, don't. No. You
No.
said picks and gifts.
Just if you can't pronounce it, just put it somewhere so somebody can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, yep, this was so far at this moment, I'm going to say possibly, because we still have half a season to go, the only villain episode we have ever gotten on the show. Now, I say this because we've had plenty of episodes where the villains have come and gone, but the main six have been there, or the main six's proteges, or the main six's proteges, or the main six's students. But either way case, there was a combination of good guys and bad guys. This was the only episode where it is nothing but bad guys and one guy that gets run over by a bunch of snow because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Amazingly, he survived. How?
He's okay. No, he's okay. He probably deals with that a lot. He's used to it. But along with this actually brought out a lot of information and a lot of lore, especially with how these characters are. Essentially, we find out that we find out a little more about Tyrek, that he basically is completely exasperated with Cozy Glow, to the point where he'll agree to anything just to get her to go the hell away.
Well, this is what you get for having her
And
as
that
a pal.
Chrysalis will go to a meeting for cupcakes.
Chrysalis apparently loves cupcakes. And let's see, chat room, what do we got here? Chrysalis absorbed. Frontaro says she feed on its love. Legend goes that Olympians burn the innards of this monster in order to obtain great strength to fight the Titans. Knowing this and seeing how powerful Tyrek... that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, Chrysalis had just taken in this being's energy before Tyrek took Chrysalis's energy, which is why he went all the way up to Form 4.
So basically, it was an ultra power.
Well, that and Chrissy, but was probably hungry as hell, so she hadn't eaten into long.
They just did a dual power up.
But yeah, Ponyman, it's a snake cow. A lot of these creatures are based in mythology to some extent, so they are out there if you look. Which is one really reason I do like the show, just because they have a lot of mythological creatures that you would not think about. Granted, they're probably not in the exact forms and ideas that they originally came out with, but nonetheless. Okay, anyway, moving right along here. Yeah, we just kind of got to see the general temperaments and how they're kind of getting along with one another and their thought processes. Basically the whole idea of Chrissy is she's just basically seething onto the whole point of revenge. That's all she wants in life, and she's gotten so obsessed with it that basically it's driven her kooky bananas. And Tyrek, of course, just wants to be big, bulky biceps guy that apparently is smarter than everybody, too.
In fairness, he's the one that kind of helped with Cozy Glow's plan, so we know he's smart.
Well, yeah, but he even said it himself. He didn't expect her to just like drain all of Equestria's magic. Actually, that was a fun part of the episode that they kind of blasted each other for their plans. It, like Tira had all the magic and lost it. And yet it's rear end handed to you. Seriously, I'm surprised that more people haven't jumped onto the whole Chrissy singing to T-Rex ass.
Ooh. Also, the fact that it's a good bear.
But in any case, I've been taking up a little bit of the time, a lot of the time here. What are people's thoughts on the episode here?
It's just nice to have a villain episode.
Other than Toa. Really? Nobody?
It was so funny to see them sing and dancing.
Oh, sorry, but I wasn't. Sorry, I actually wasn't paying attention for a moment there.
Basically, I was asking for people's thoughts on the Frenemies episode.
It was good. That's about all I can really say.
Yep, it was good.
You mean we're actually supposed to watch the episodes?
Well, yeah.
Well, I would like to think so, especially since this one's been out for a few weeks now. And this was before they started to, unfortunately, shoot them out like Pez.
I didn't watch the first one of the season yet.
It's interesting. It's fun. It gives me a lot of ideas of what's going to be going on and crazy fan theories. And yeah,
Alright. Admit, I did kind of like the Cozy Glow was the only one that was actually dressed for winter weather and all of this.
she's a pony. She gets affected by the weather. The other two have, well, Crystal's a bug, so she's got the keratin outer skin. And Tyrek just doesn't care.
Okay, yeah, I wish I could show this whole comic here, but it just shows a little storyboard, happy-go-lucky singing thing, and just Chrissy waking up from a nightmare, just like, we are so getting reformed after this, aren't we?
Oh. Give it a bit second. Someone will do a comic dub of it.
Okay, that's kind of funny and messed up.
Why? What? That's an interesting meme.
Right? But yeah, not just going through
And we
the.
get a lot of great cozy faces.
Oh,
So many.
Cozy was all over the place with this one, especially when she was starting to completely lose it. I'm cute and lovable. You're supposed to love me.
Oh. Oh, she went full dollar dimple on that.
Well, she was being denied her special talent of being manipulative.
Well, also she had to deal with a book that she once swore by and now hates.
I wish that image was a little bit clearer. Just her stuck in the snowball there.
It was great to see that trope go by.
Of course, here's Tyrek a little more powered up now. And of course, I need a detailed list of all the ways I'm a failure. Yeah, you know what? You could do a whole thing on just the faces of Cozy Glow here.
They are really stepping up the game for the faces for this final season.
Oh no, the faces this whole season have been ridiculously great, which is fun. I mean, the first seasons it was a lot more slapstick and rubbery, and now there's actually they got a lot more animation chops down. They can get all these crazy faces and expressions going on. It's just gloriously wonderful.
Also, just to interrupt, the Avengers video game comes out May 15th.
Yay. Moving on.
Here.
Oh yeah, this part was great. Just you see the big dark shadow following Chrissy, and she just scares the living shit out of it.
I do wonder what creature lives on this mountain.
Hmm.
I don't know, but there's got to be a joke about being able to scare away the shadows with that somehow.
Well, considering that the actual Pony of Shadows is no more, at least we hope.
You don't know if you well.
Oh, right, yes. Cozy says that she has a plan, and it's that little picture. Not much of a plan.
Of course, I do also like how the villains, yeah, again, the villains basically blasting themselves at their own thing. Like, I'm supposed to be the manipulative one. Please, we know what you're trying to do. And everybody's like, why are you cocooning them, Chrissy? Oh, well, I leave a little bit more for breakfast. You gotta have a good breakfast.
Comments about Discord was better before he was reformed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, to be fair, Tyrek, you lost because Discord more or less reformed.
And of course, Chrissy changing into an Ursa Minor, though that is the smallest Ursa Minor ever. I think there might be actual size limitation to the changes, though, obviously.
May I remind you, Ocellus has that big thing?
That could still be a size limit. I mean, if
Ocellus wasn't even that big, Toa. Did you not see when she turned into that thing in like Starlight's office, like in the episode where
Oh,
not
you're talking about the bugbear? Yeah, that's still bigger than her.
well, yeah, it's still bigger than her, and so is that. But
normal bugbear.
but being double the size of your normal compared to an actual Ursa Minor, which is the size of a freaking building, and this is obviously not the size of a building. I'm just saying that there's a limit, or else do you think Chrissy would just find out how to turn into an Ursa Major and just stomp all over a city?
Are we going Godzilla? Because we got Tyrek right there.
Chrissy Zilla. Whoa! Oh wow, that is an expression change.
Oh, that animation of my eyes go tiny and I'm disgusted.
The pinpricks and angry face. Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah, I'm just going through these images here.
Yeah, I think we've hit all the talking points of this episode.
Yeah, it really was a really fun episode. The song was great and on point. I actually listened to it more than a few times, and again, trying to work on a parody of it. Really, Coal Dust, really.
What, this photo?
He knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's pushing an pushing it there.
Yeah.
Cole, no.
I don't see the problem.
It's not the problem, it's the fact that we can't really show that when we're trying to still stay under R.
Without getting into trouble with YouTube.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show anything.
All right. So,
We want to get in trouble with YouTube? Oh, I'll find the pictures of the bench press scene.
No. Please don't get us in trouble with YouTube, damn it.
That is so easy.
I know it's easy. That's the problem. It's too easy.
Fun for the whole family, Circuit.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
And the whole family includes the adults.
all right. Well, let's just to quickly sum it up real fast. The episode was good. I really liked it. So far, in all honesty, this whole season has been a lot of great episodes and some good ones. There was only one that I've had a bit of a bitter taste to, but I still enjoy some of it. But in all honesty, considering it's been going on for 9 seasons and that's what the track record we have so far, it's a great record. That is great stuff. I doubt any series can say that they've gone 9 without ended up having some really bad ones running in.
The only one that really X people would be the reason we have the friendship book in the show. Oh, but also that other time it's kind of out of the hands of the episode itself.
We're gonna go ahead and move on here. Well, in any case, anybody have any other quick final thoughts about the episode and your thoughts on it? Okay, fine. I'll put this one up, but I won't do any more. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna just do this one from DM21. But any other final thoughts on the episode here before we move on?
I wish I'd rewatched it before we started this. In hindsight, I have more things to say.
Honestly, I kind of wanted to do the same thing, but I didn't have the time either.
I've got the mind of a goldfish.
No, you have the mind of a coal desk.
And I have the mind of a full-time worker that's whose job is slowly sucking his soul. It hurts.
At least didn't pull 30 things for internet sales today.
Touche. Alright, well, let's go ahead and move on to the other episode we're going to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about the snipe hunt.
AKA proving that a balloon did not cause her parents' death yet.
Okay, we're
You really like to jump ahead, don't you?
he does that a lot, and it drives me crazy. Going to seed. Of course, we are talking about going to seed and the snipe hunt, or the hunt for the great seedling. Who, in all honesty, I do kind of like some of the fan art that's been coming out of the great seedling.
It is the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Sorry, correction. It's a freaking Saw's bug or whatever dealing a Pokemon just MLP.
Right.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this image up for a moment because it is kind of funny. Thank you, Coldust. But yeah, everybody grab your images of the it's the great seedling, Charlie Brown. Sorry, my brain just kind of hiccup there. And well, I go ahead and talk about it. Now, of course, the episode is pretty standard for an Applejack episode. The apple farm is going to be at its busiest it's been in a long time because every tree is going to bloom at going to harvest at the exact same time, which means that they have a limited amount of time to harvest all of them before the apples will go bad, go rotten, get eaten by bats. I don't know. They have a limited time for some reason or another.
You know, pre-planning would solve all this. Okay.
Well, I'm pretty sure they pre-planned as best as they can plan, but unfortunately the pre-planned kind of superseded the plan, so they ran out of plan before they could plan the pre-planned.
You know, I have to wonder how this is all going to go down as far as like supply and demand for this harvest goes. Because if they harvested it all at once, then that means will ponies want to buy it all at once? I know she's got an apple seller, but how long will the apples last with the apple seller involved? This all bothers me.
Well, let's go. Okay, let's go
man.
ahead and jump into this then. There are ways that they can preserve the apples in a way that can be still useful later down the line. They could actually make there's jams and jellies. There's also preservatives and
Ciders.
and the ciders. That's exactly what I wanted to jump into. The famous apple cider, which we know. Let's face it, we know it's alcoholic. And in order for that alcohol to brew, it's got to be fermented, which means it's got to be put up in a barrel with a bunch of stuff and left to sit for months. You can't tell me that they won't take full advantage of that in order to make sure they make full use of all these apples.
I mean, hell, depending on the type of alcohol you're making, you might leave that shit for years.
Oh, there you go. The vintage Applejack cider. We're talking the stuff that's in the gilded bottles, and you actually see the original pear harvest. What the pear jam?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm getting some
Help.
tea because my brain just decided to explode.
The
And
brain be melting.
my brain be melting, man. I don't know what I'm going on anymore. Okay, so the episode, getting back to what we were trying to talk about with the episode. So, the apple harvest is coming in all at once, so they have to get everything together. They try to get help from their families, and instead they get Goldie Delicious and the Brigade of 99 Cats.
And while Applejack is listing off potential helpers, her eyes do a thing when she says Honeycrisp. And it makes me want to ship her and Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp isn't an actual pony we've seen in products or in show at all before.
Well, it's simple. Honeycrisp is a bear.
Okay.
The Honeycrisp is a bear.
Honeycrisp.
Can't get enough of that Honeycrisp. Wrong song, but we're still gonna run with it. But no, yeah. Getting back on whatever track we ever have. So yeah, they managed to get Goldie Delicious because that's the only help they can get, but they still welcome it. At the same time, Goldie Delicious decides what better way to spear on getting everybody to work together and try to harvest all these apples than to distract Apple Bloom by talking about the snipe. I mean the great seedling, which rises out of the seedling patch and gives presents to all the good boys and girls. No, seriously, there's so many different parallels we can draw from this, it's not even funny. But I'm still going to try anyway and laugh the whole way. So, Apple Bloom decides, you know what, I'm going to grab the great seedling, and that way we can do harvest whenever we want. And Applejack won't have to destroy herself, her family, her relatives, and everybody in between in order to harvest all of these apples. Meanwhile, Applejack is destroying herself, her family, and everybody in between to harvest the apples because Apple Bloom decides that she must build traps. So we get some wonderful scenes of a very sleepy Big Mac trying to harvest apples, and of course a very smug Applejack harvesting better than Big Mac. Seriously, that was one of the best scenes that I saw in the entire thing, with Big Mac literally kicking a tree so hard it slaps down onto the basket and then flops back up. And then Applejack basically roadhousing 4 trees around her and getting
yeah, I do want to go through that frame by frame, Cole.
Actually, the one thing that drives me crazy, there are no animations of a Big Mac kicking the tree like that.
No one took a GIF of that?
I have yet to find one. If anybody finds one, please.
We got to know.
But yeah, so the whole time, Apple Bloom is trying to find evidence and capture the great seedling. And then as things are going on, strange things are happening. Trees are getting harvested throughout the night unexpectedly. Weird patterns of apples are appearing on the ground. And Applejack gets told of the horrible story where she got caught in one of her own traps as her parents died off screen, leading to horrible traumatization, thinking that she could have saved them. No, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it? But no. Hold on. Sorry. That came out of nowhere.
That makes a little bit more sense, though, for that comic. Okay.
But in all honesty, though, it was kind of funny because we actually got to see a moment where Apple Bloom was being carried around by Pear Butter. Thank you, Brain. By Pear Butter, which basically blows out the whole fan theory that Apple Bloom's birth destroyed the parents.
Oh shit, you know what? That actually blows up my theory. Okay. This is the episode that finally destroys my theory that Apple Bloom is the love child between Big Macintosh and Braybird.
Okay.
It's finally destroyed, and I'm sad.
I'm pretty sure many things were destroyed that day. Anyway.
I can get the Google Doc. I can get the Google Doc.
Don't get the Google Doc. We're going to go ahead and move on.
We need the Google Doc.
No, we do not.
Yes, we need the doc.
Of course, this still begs the question, what the hell happened with Pear Butter, though?
Yes,
with Brent Mac and Pear Butter. Nobody knows what the hell happened, but apparently all all three of them were born at some point before something happened. So, whatever happened, Apple Bloom was at least a baby in that time.
And we will never know.
We will probably never know. It is literally going to be one of the mysteries that is going to be left to the fandom to fill. Which, in all honesty, I'm okay with. I am more than okay with
Unless they fill that in the second half of the season.
No, I don't see that happening.
That is not happening. There is no way they're going to address it.
No.
They've already acknowledged that they are dead, and they are never going to tell us why.
We were just grateful that we got to see their parents.
You know what? Yeah, we're grateful we actually know what they look like. And that it was done in a wonderfully romantic way, that all the bronies were, aww. And then it was done with William Shatner, which all the bronies were, ah. And he actually pulled out a good performance, was like, oh. And then everybody was...
As soon as you figure out, like, oh, they're gone, I go, oh.
And then everybody's hoping that we end up getting Patrick Stewart in at some point.
Yeah.
Because we already got Q, we got the original Star Trek captain. Come on, let's get the awesome bald guy.
It's pretty amazing.
Let's get the bald guy in here. Come on, Patrick Stewart would be awesome. But yes, and so Applejack decides to, after kind of getting over herself and getting more and more excited, let her inner child in and starts to try to set up traps to capture the great seedling, while still also trying to harvest apples in the morning with Big Mac, who basically looks like me every single time I try to go to work. And that's when the giant cat swarm decides to invade Ponyville. Nobody was left alive.
Ooh,
There are
I
many
found the Google
casualties.
Doc. Okay.
No. Just no. Seriously, has anybody tried to name any of these cats?
Too many.
Not really.
There's a lot of cats.
Okay.
Heck, I can see one is doubled just in that shot there.
True, there's definitely a few doubles in there, though I have to give them credit for having only maybe a few doubles in all of that.
Well, the doubles that I'm seeing are different angles. Because I'm seeing back head shots and front head shots.
But still, there's a lot of
Siamese
recolors.
on the left, top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a twist of the head.
True.
Gotta save that animation budget somehow.
Well, yeah, then drawing 100 different cats would probably be crazy.
Crazy cat people.
And of course, we also see Applejack when she finally gets in touch with the great apple cider. This is why they don't let her touch it after it's been in a barrel for 100 years.
This is why you sell it. You don't drink it.
Seriously, this was one of the best jokes that I've seen so far. Just the Roadhouse. Roadhouse. But yeah, the original plan had Big Mac and Applejack. Actually, if you take a look, it looks like Big Mac actually does more work than Applejack does, but only just by a little bit.
Yeah, they're
If you look at
kinda
the map,
even,
yeah.
and they've given the smallest to Apple Bloom, and
Well, that makes
Another
sense. It
area.
makes sense on Apple Bloom's side. It makes sense on Apple Bloom and Granny, but between Applejack and Big Mac, it's just hilarious that Big Mac is the one that
But-
has to pick up the slack.
the odd thing about this, the way that they've spread things out, and the fact that as we're going about through the season and the bucking, why are they all in the same areas?
You know what? There's one thing I do want to bring out here real fast. I am so happy. Yeah, why are they in the same areas? No.
It's
I
confusing.
getting back on track. I'm happy. I'm happy because Winona has made a return.
We got the pusher. Turns out she's not dead.
The poocher is still around.
But have we seen Tank since winter?
Turns out he froze to death in the tree.
Okay, I gotta admit, this is hilarious that a lot of people are drawing parallels to the Great Seedling and the Prince of all buggies, the thorax. Yeah, it's a thorax.
Okay.
That was funny. Alright, and of course we're just going down the wonderful images here. Oh, the love orchard. I love this. They set up a bunch of yeah. This is one of the best comics out of this. Set up a bunch of traps to capture him. They keep getting him sprung. Then we get to see a bunch of couples getting interrupted, like Lyra and Bon Bon.
I was so confused when I first seen this comic. I'm like, okay.
Are you kidding? I figured it out real fast though. The Scootaloo and the Rainbow Dash pillow was hilarious.
You know, maybe you are old enough. I'll let Scootaloo explain it.
Well, I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is a reference to something, but I don't know what. And that's because I didn't watch any of the episodes yet.
And Celestia and Luna also getting caught, just like, oh, this is the Apple Family Orchard. We understand. Seriously, there's a lot of these where the traps end up going awry and capturing the wrong. And also Bob the Dalek, Apple capturing Bright Mac and Pear Butter, which was hilarious. And here's the best part: the images of the Great Seedling, which I honestly really do hope I see some fan art and stuff of this at BronyCon. And that is not the Great Seedling; that is a Pokemon. And that is Big Mac taking on the mantle of the big caller from Bright Mac. We actually got to see a moment of history right there, and it was just in a flashback. You're big enough, son. You can handle this. I'm pretty sure I'll live long enough to see you grow into a fine stallion and carry this around, but we're just going to give this to you now. There's no way that this will not come back to becoming a treasured keepsake. Just needs you to do this for the next week.
We will staple it to your coat to make sure it will never come off.
Yeah. Huh, I just saw it. Yeah, that was a Pokemon.
Okay, and here's a nice. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's an animated. There's a GIF of Big Mac kicking the tree, and then Applejack showing off.
Yeah.
Seriously, I love that. Just that kick and the whole tree just bam. I mean, the showing off is hilarious, but I just love that part. And of course, here's another one of the Great Seedling. Here's Applejack trapped inside her own trap. Here's a passing of a mantle that is in no way indicative that the family is going to be split apart with an unfortunate death. There is no way that is happening. The family will be together forever. I can't keep making the joke.
Happy thoughts only.
So the best part of this episode wasn't even shown, it was talked about.
It was. But in any case, they continue to try to capture the Great Seedling and see more and more weird elaborate traps up to the point where they wake up in the middle of the night to see trees are being moved around and something spooky moving around. Of course, it starts to chase after them. They freak out. Many things happen. They get caught in their own traps because apparently you can't trap the Great Seedling, or you can't trap, which actually ends up being Big Mac and Tashu is sleepwalking. Because apparently Big Mac is the only one that's actually responsible enough to make sure that it all gets harvested while everybody else is goofing off. You heard me!
See, that's why it gets slightly more, because he can, when he's asleep, he can still move around and take care of that stuff.
Yeah. But then after that is all finally Jack Napier. Oh, that is terrible. They're all murdered by Jack Napier. And also, yes. Hello, Rexy Streams. Hello, Rexy Streams. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Oh, wow. Ponyman64 coming off with the tearjerker effect out in the chat room now. All right, we'll go ahead and read this real fast before we wrap up the talk about the episode and also show a few more pictures. The real story of the seedling is a myth. The real story is not so nice. The seedling was captured and made into a slave, forced to provide a never-ending harvest for one pony. Without the seedlings, the farms became barren. The pony who captured the seedling realized this at his old age, and his life amounted to nothing. His vast fortune was not truly earned, by it caused great harm to Equestria. He finally freed the great seedling, restoring nature as it's supposed to be. Not bad.
Only after I get rich may you leave.
Actually, I did show that Sonic, but thank you for posting it anyway because it is a fun one and it does need to be shown. Need to make sure it gets shown. But yeah, the Great Seedling, and I actually was kind of concerned about this because I didn't see any right off the bat, but it looks like he did get a good deal of art. And I like the concept of the Great Seedling. It looks really interesting. Yeah, it does kind of look like a Pokemon though, but it still looks interesting. And it is kind of nice to get these like little fictional characters. Actually, is there such a thing as a Great Seedling that is out there?
There's probably something somewhere in Mythos.
We're gonna have to take a look.
Kind of a harvest, a spirit of the harvest.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of those floating around. So.
Yeah, there's a few Spirit of the Harvest.
Like Holo.
The first thing that comes to my mind is in the Ed and Eddie Christmas special with Nyesh.
That sounds like something spoken backwards.
It is pretty much that. But yes, getting back on track here real fast to wrap this up before we get our final thoughts. They find out that the Great Seedling is Big Mac, who's been sleepwalking. They wake him up in surprise as he finally falls for one of the traps. And then they realize, oh, Big Mac's actually been doing all the work, and because he's been doing all the work, all the trees have been harvested. And now Big Mac can finally sleep. They can finally let the poor guy sleep so he's not dying. And of course, then they... Sorry.
That's why you work solid for a week. Day and night don't matter. So they can sleep for a week and nobody can bother you.
That's how you do it. And of course, they realize that after the harvest is done, wait, the carrots have been disturbed. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe the Great Seedling doesn't mess with apples. Maybe he messes with carrots. So they get the horrible little idea that they're going to start continuing setting traps in the carrot fields now. And off they go. And somewhere else, it looks like we see Apple Bloom with a Pokeball, apparently.
Yeah.
And of course, it looks like somebody made the joke that Derpy dropped a bunch of carrots, and of course led to the misunderstanding. Still, I love that. I love the comics that have come out from this. It's fun stuff. And of course, here's a few images of the Great Seedling. And while we're showing the images, thoughts on the episode. I liked it. It was fun. It was a good episode. It wasn't like this deep story. It wasn't massive intriguing. It was very, it's a Great Seedling, Charlie Brown slice of life, but it was fun and silly because of it. And we also got a little bit of Apple family lore with the Great Seedling. And we also have a great image of Applejack and her plot line once again, which apparently is becoming the one thing that every animator is doing a lot with. I'm just going to leave that image there. And anybody have any thoughts on the episode?
I was disappointed that nobody did any Freddy references, but whatever.
I still think the best part of this episode was spoken in words, and it was Goldie Delicious's stories about the cheetah that got into the catnip. I want to see a cheetah on catnip.
I kind of want to know what happened there. So that sounds interesting as hell, and now I'm ridiculously curious.
I swear there's a video out there of some place where they actually did give catnip to like a big cat.
Seriously, somebody have this print. Have this print on BronyCon. I mean, look at that. That is an awesome Great Seedling right there. I could see that on my wall. That is beautiful. It's Darksly. It's Darksly. Anyway, any other thoughts on the episode from anybody?
I think you missed mine, Circuit.
Which one did I miss?
The Roadhouse one.
No, I posted it up. I said it was one of the great images. I love that Roadhouse joke.
Oh, okay. I just didn't see it.
It's alright. I've been having to flip through these really quick because you guys just deluge me with these, and I love it. love having all of these images as we're talking about the episode. It really makes it hard to keep my one track mind, but it really does paint a good picture. And now here's Apple Bloom as a great seedling. Any other thoughts on the episode? All right, I'd say that's it then. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episodes. We got 2 more that we're going to talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about the School of Guidance next week, along with the latest episode. So another twofer. Hopefully, we'll get our thoughts together and be able to give you a great, deep, and intriguing. Who are we kidding? We're just going to post a bunch of pictures and talk about our favorite moments. That's exactly what's going
There's
down.
a lot of pictures.
There will be.